Hey, so my name is Imani with Quality Cup Life, and here we believe that it serves the world best when you pour into your cup first. You cannot give what you don't have. So, let's pour it up and flow past capacity. Ooh. So today in here I'm drinking coffee with almond milk creamer, vanilla flavored, coconut oil for the MCTs, get you some good energy, and some cinnamon with a nice extra little kick of flavor. And cinnamon is anti-inflammatory. Very good. So today, we are still on the topic of what I learned from college, but in this particular video we're talking about the second category, which is what I learned about money / wealth in college. And here we go. It's 5 of them, okay? So, number 1. Money comes from the value you bring to an individual or company and how many people you serve. It is not based on how many hours you work, your time, and effort you deliver. It's not based on that. It's easy to believe that because that's kind of the kind of vibe you get from corporate America, or even just regular jobs. You clock in, whether you're doing something or not. You clock in, you can sit around, do whatever. You ain't got nothing. If you don't have anything to do, or you find something to do, or you make it look like you're doing something, get your money, you clock out, right? And so, but that's not actually where your money comes from. It's based upon the value that you bring. How significant are you in your position in this particular, in the marketplace? How significant is it? Can everybody do it? Because if any and everybody could do it, then most likely you're not going to be making that much money. And even if everybody can't do it, if there's no high demand for this particular thing, you most likely won't get that much money. It's not based upon that. You need to check out what's the demand for this thing. How valuable? How can I add value? Always ask the question, how can I add value? How can I add value? I wasn't taught that in college, specifically, but when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, right, okay. Number 2 is I learned how important it is to choose a major that's linked, kind of like what I was saying for the first thing, that's linked to an in-demand particular service or product. Because there's a ton of people with degrees and certifications and this and that, but if it's not in something that has demand in the marketplace, it does not matter. I mean, and it absolutely sucks to have either spent a ton of money, like out of your parents' pocket or whatever, or scholarships, or there's a bunch of time wasted, or you get yourself into a ton of debt, right? And then when you get out of college, you can't find a freaking job. You can't find a job. Like, none of this information is valuable for you to get some money. Like, you know what I'm saying? As an adult, you're supposed to learn how to get some money. And you cannot do that if the degree that you cannot do that in your field. If the field that you got your degree in, it doesn't yield much. Like, no shade, but if you get a history degree, what the heck are you gonna get a job in? What is that? Like, it's not a very high, not saying that it's impossible, but it's not a very high and in-demand field. It's not. You can become a teacher, but you need an education degree. A lot of times, right? A lot of times for that, you need an education degree, or you need your master's to teach on a college level a lot of times, right? So they need to teach this in school. In high school, when they're talking about, yeah, you should go to college, they need to talk about this in high school before you even get to college. And then in these little freshman seminars or whatever else, they need to talk about how important that is, and to look up, do market research. What are people looking for? And then you can start to think about what are people looking for and what are my giftings, and do I believe that I can insert my gifting into this field, right? What am I good at? And do I think I can do this thing well in this particular field that's in high demand, that I can make a decent living? You know, people don't teach that, and that can irritate me sometimes. Right. Number 3. I learned how important it is to take control and responsibility of my financial life. So when I was learning this particular lesson, I wasn't aware of the first thing I learned from college about the value you bring is equal to the amount of money you make. I wasn't aware of that, but I saw older people working, and I knew they did not want to be there, and it was jobs that I knew they wasn't feeling like that. It wasn't like it was their calling and their purpose, and they felt like they were serving a ton of people and they loved it. It was not the examples I saw. For example, I worked at Chick-fil-A a couple years ago, and this lady who worked in the dining area, she had to at least be 72. She could be 75. I don't know, but I knew she was at least in her 70s. And she was working in the dining room on her feet, walking around, sweeping down the tables, wiping down the tables. At Chick-fil-A, it's super customer service oriented. So, okay, ask the customer, do they need anything? Then you go back from where they are, go back behind the counter, find what they're looking for, bring it to them, and then you continue, right? She was too old to be, personally, I would not want my grandma to be doing that when you should be retired, or be in some kind of work that you enjoy. If that is not your calling, you don't feel like you're serving people, I don't want to do it. And I don't want my grandma doing it. I don't want my mom doing it when she gets old enough. I don't know. And I realized how important that is, because if you do not take control of your financial and take responsibility for yourself financially, if you don't be intentional, if you're not intentional about that kind of stuff, the world will bulldoze you into, not bulldoze you, but you accidentally become broke. If you don't intentionally become rich or intentionally financially stable and prepare for when you get to an older age, you'll become accidentally broke. And it just makes me so sad. This older black woman who was a janitor in the computer science building, she worked, man, and I felt so bad for her, because I guess she was so tired, she fell asleep on the chair, right? And I thought she was so cute seeing her fall asleep on the chair, but I just felt bad. I was like, man, my grandma, if that was me, I'd be like, grandma, we not doing this. You need to go home and sit down somewhere, or you can volunteer down at the church, or volunteer down at whatever, or work whatever you want to do. But I don't want you working at a school as a janitor, and that ain't your thing. So that's my spiel, right? But I'm just saying that's just important. Teach yourself, take control of your finances. Point blank, in the period. Number 4. It's related to the number 3. Is this 3? 3. Related to number 3. Number 4 is to educate yourself financially. We all need to be financially literate. And this is my guess. Could be wrong, don't quote me, but I would guess and say that 90% of students who walk into college, they are not financially literate. They don't know they're not prepared or thoroughly educated on these loans and how these loans will creep back on you, and you will owe such and such in amount of money in interest. And if you don't pay it, and the consequences of deferment over years and years and years and years. They don't talk to you about picking majors very intentionally and doing something that will bring you a yield and a degree that will pay for itself. multiple times over. They don't teach you about this stuff. They don't talk to you about money, bank, credit, cards, how dangerous that could be, you getting yourself into a ton of credit card debt and you can't pay it back, how interest works, how banks work, how car loans work, how mortgages work. People don't teach this type of stuff. And going back to taking responsibility for yourself, you cannot blame anybody else for not teaching you. You have to hold yourself accountable and be like, okay, I am aware that I don't know much about money. Let me find some resources so I can learn and teach myself. Like, you know what I mean? You need to learn and teach yourself. Everybody needs to know this stuff, because if you don't, people will run over you. If you don't take control of yourself, somebody else is going to be telling you what to do, telling you what to buy, telling you what to wear, telling you when to go to work, telling you when you can and cannot take a vacation. Like, other people will dictate your life if you don't take responsibility. So learn yourself about some finances. All right? And number 5. I learned how important it is to understand taxes. And how the government will take a lot from you if you don't know how to keep the money you earned. So I had a professor. I was a graphic design major, right? And so he was the head of the department. And so he was the head of the department, which is cool. And then he also has his own business. And he would talk about how important it is to understand taxes, get you a good CPA, and you need to keep as much money going back to the government legally as possible, because that is the money that you earned. So you need to understand this, that way you can keep more of that money. Because if you don't, like for example, if you only have a 9 to 5 and you're employed by someone else, and you get a W-2, W-4, or whatever, the government takes out the money from your paycheck before it even hits your account, or before you get the paper check. They take the money out before you even get it, and it's about, I think, 25-30%. That might not sound a lot, but that's a lot of money over time. That is a lot of money. You can do a lot with 30% of, let's say you make 50, your salary is 50 grand a year. 30% of that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money. So you need to keep as much money as you can. Understand taxes. And that's how a lot of wealthy people, they qualify themselves for a bunch of tax loopholes legally. They don't pay as many taxes legally. But if you're just oblivious, the government will take that money. So educate yourself. If you don't know, that's okay, but educate yourself. You need to understand taxes. Understand. All right, I'm still learning myself, so I'm not harping on people. I'm just saying it's very important, right? So thank you for watching. If you have anything you want to ask me, if you had anything else you learned in college about wealth and finances and money, if you just have anything else you want to ask me, whatever you feel led, put it in the comments below. If you like the video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe. You can share it with your friends, whatever you want to do. Thank you so much for watching. I'm out.